a, I believe we were supposed to submit an outline for our final project
Yes,
this Sunday.
yes.
I still don't have a topic, and so I did not submit an outline.
Let me
I,
talk
I'm
after
sort
this. Let me talk with you
after.
after.
Okay. Okay. Sounds great.
All right, good. All right. So any question before we move on? Okay. Let's let me go back here. Yeah. Yeah. Except for week number 6, you guys supposed to submit the analysis paper uh or the online representation, and the rest is just follow the regular schedule, the regular assignment. One more thing is I want to emphasize, uh, especially if you write analysis paper, please, please read the rubrics, okay? I base upon this rubric to give you the grade here, the analysis paper here. Yeah, so let's see here. Sorry, my computer is slow. Yeah, so please make sure to have proofreading before you submit the paper, okay? And please double space, okay? You should have the particular list of references, a footnote, a note, or the in-text citation in every paper you submit because you're college student, okay? And the minimum is 5 citation, okay, from academic references, not from Google search, please, okay. I'm really serious about that. And please, the minimum is 800. You can go up, but please go down. Otherwise, you lost the point. Please check with the plagiarism, especially with the AI. Please remember that. Okay, the maximum only 5% because it's not your work. As much as you put everything in your wording, you'll be safe. Right? If you copy and paste, it's not your work. You are not college student. I have some high school student, and they say, well, sometimes they lazy. They wait for the last minute to turn in their assignment, and they use AI. Is is it unacceptable in college, right? Because you are trained to be teacher, professional, and so forth in professional field, right? And please don't use Wikipedia. Wikipedia is for discussion only, but for writing, there's no way, okay? And please check grammatical error, typo, and so forth, right? Some of you make a lot of typo problems, even some specific uh, terms, name, and so forth, okay? And please cite the number, cite the page number of the sources, okay? Don't put the whole book, don't put the whole articles because I need to check it to see whether you cite correctly or not. And please, this is a training. One more time, don't copy and paste, okay? And you should have introduction, abstract, conclusion clearly. Yeah, please remember that if you write analysis paper, and most of you are writing analysis paper here, right? Any question for this? Is that clear, right? So one more time, I'm serious about using this rubric to give you the grade, right? So you should know beforehand when you submit the paper. Yeah, and if you have problem with writing, go to learning center, yeah, or call them. They can help you online. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Please one more time. If you don't turn on the cam, if we don't see you, you won't have 5 points because this is the school policy. Okay. Uh, all right. So let me share with you the let's see here the 16th question. Okay, for today. It's just your turn. Uh, now each question I need only 2 students. Okay, So let's say for number one, only student. If I have three, I have to move to different one. All right, so please pick up the question now. So your discussion one more time. If you discuss, you have 5 points. If you don't have that. This the reason why I like you to participate, engage in this kind of discussion, because I want to hear from you whether you share wrong or right. Doesn't matter. Important is to engage with this discussion. Okay, so please type the question number nearby your name so that I can put you in the discussion, the breakout room, so that you can talk with your friends for 5 minutes and start to come back to discuss. Okay. Yeah. So please put the question nearby your name. No, don't put on the chat. Don't put on the chat, please. Put your question nearby your name. All right, when you log in here, you know how to do that? Oh, like Colin there? Yeah, Colin got number one right there. Yeah,
You
don't.
Yes, just for anyone who doesn't know, if you click on the three dots on your screen or on your picture, at the very bottom, the last one will say, well, mine's in German, but umbenennen, or I guess rename. And so if you click that, then you can add, for example, Q whatever. I just abbreviated question to Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roland, he has number three.
Can we see the questions again?
You can turn on your computer, right? I mean, that go to the side to the question there. Okay, because
They're on.
I want to see your number so that I can assign you now guy to the room. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Let me open the room first. Let me see how is this. Okay, room number one. Let's see here. Okay, we have Colin, Eric. Okay, number two. Number two, Gavin. We have so many three. Yeah. Okay. No, sorry. It's number two. Number three. Um. Okay, number three. Okay. We have a lot number three. You guys have to change to number two, or different number. Numbers 4. Number 4. Number 7. Number 2. Number 7. Okay. What else? Number 5. One more time, Kelly, please turn on the cam. If you don't turn on the cam, sorry, you will have that 5 point. Okay. You should interact with all the students. Okay. That's a school policy.
Yes, sir. I'm a single parent of a special needs child, so I'm going to need you to be extra patient with me because I'm doing everything all by myself. I have to balance my school and my work, my son, and I have no help. So I am here. If you saw earlier, I was in the car on video. I just got in my house and I'm trying to get my everything set up, but I am here, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, please, yeah, try your best to turn on the cam soon, okay? Okay, number 8. All right, let me yeah, number 2. Yeah, we have too many number 2, too many number 3. Yeah. Okay, so let me turn on open the room. And if you see your name, you can go there and talk with your friends about your question. And after that, about 5 minutes, I will close the breakout room and you come out here to discuss what you understand about that question. Okay. Let's see any more. Number 4. Okay, this is number 4 here. Yeah. Okay. All right, let me open the Zoom room. And if you see your name, please go there. Okay. If you don't see your name, you need to change a different number. Okay. Each room has only 2 students. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. If you see your name, go there, please. We have too many number 2, too many number 3. Yeah, you need to change this. All right. Please change a different number. We have plenty of number. We have 16 number. Yeah, and I want 2
Do I just pick a number? Am I supposed to just pick a number? Sorry, I was late.
Yeah, you pick a question number. Number 1 is done. Number 2 is done. Number 3. Okay, let's see here. Number 7. Oops. Number 7. Okay. Okay, so yeah, number 1, 4, number 2, 4, number 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have number 5, 6, 8. Yeah, please change to all the question. Number 4 is 4. Yeah, please change to different question.
So where are the questions listed? That's what I was trying to find out.
Yeah, go to week 4 and turn on. I mean that click on the question, the list of the question for week 4.
I just changed mine to 8. I don't know if I was supposed to. I just picked 8 because you said 8. So
Okay, let's
and
see.
there's already an 8.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I can send you the number 8. All right. Yeah, number right. Oh no, number 8 is enough. We have enough people student for number 8. Yeah, the rest please change. Okay, please change to different number. We have number 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, and so forth.
So do I change mine? Do I? What?
Yeah,
what-
please. Yeah, please change a different number, different question, because all the question the student pick already. Okay. Yeah.
Kind of confused as to what's going on. So just pick 3, 7, 4, 6.
No, from number 1 to number 4 is 4. Each
Oh,
has only 2 students. So yeah, we have 16 questions, so you can pick other question. Okay, we have number 5, number 6, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so forth. It's plenty of them.
so I just changed mine to 16 then. How's that?
No problem.
Okay.
I want you guys spread out to discuss, not to focus only one question. Okay. All right. Kristen 11, huh? Let's see here. Okay, go ahead, Kristen. You go there. Okay, Brand 16, you go there.
So am I just answering the question?
Yeah, when you go there, if someone picks number 16, you can talk with them. Okay, for 5 minutes, and after that, come back here. After that,
Okay.
close the breakout room, come back here, and share with the whole groups about the question. Okay. All right. So James, you have number 6. Let's see, number 6. Yeah. Okay. Hi. An and Rishan, please change a different number. We have plenty of students to have number 7, okay? Yeah. Dylan, number 5, huh? Yeah, go ahead, Dylan. You go there, number 5.
It was nobody in the chat when I went in there.
It's okay.
I was just sitting there.
I know. Yeah, I know. So just go there. So whoever comes, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you send the link?
Go there. You can go there with Kelly. Kelly number 5 now, okay?
Yeah, I'd like to work with Mr. Brown. Be
Yeah,
cool.
go ahead. Go to number 5. With
Sir.
Okay.
or Rishan, you can go to number 16 with another student. I forgot his name. 16. Yeah, Brand. Yeah. Okay, and number 8. You are number 8. Let's see here. No, pick different question. And because we want to go to number 6. Okay, change it. I can change it. I send you to number 6 then. Yeah, change it, please. Okay. All right, go there and talk with your partner. Okay, and after that, I can close and come back here to talk. Okay.
Or to be added to the do not call list, please call us back at 1-877-687-1182. Thank you.
Okay. Right, just wait for others to come out. Okay, let's see here. Right, let's see here. Go ahead, Colin and Eric. Yeah, please start with number 1 and start with your question, please.
Right. So our question was describe Buddhist views on the challenges of the physical world. An example, material life or physiological life. For example, Buddhism recognizes that life is transient in every aspect, such as uncontrolled weather, boom bust cycle of the economy, etc. Yeah, and we had a really big discussion on how the question itself kind of addresses a lot of the core like tenets of Buddhism itself, which is that life is always in transience. If Colin would also like to add more as well.
And if I could add on to what Eric was saying, I mean, we were talking about how, for example, all things in the Buddhist worldview are transient, including, I mean, the body will eventually age, and so youth is transience, the body will eventually pass, and so life is in transience, and and so, for example, downturns in the economy, if one is truly concerned about that and has a Buddhist mindset, well, they could look at it as that perhaps in I don't know, I'm not very familiar with the stock market, but perhaps in a couple months or whatever, my stock will be up. I was also sort of curious of why exactly a devout Buddhist would follow the stock market. I know that in Buddhism, you being obsessed with the accumulation of wealth is bad because it's desire, and so it's going to lead to suffering. That said, wealth itself is not a bad thing because you can use that wealth in altruistic ways and thus help others. But the accumulation of wealth by itself and for selfish means, for example, such as Elon Musk, he's a great example of someone who does not acquires wealth, but does not use any Buddhist principles to benefit others with it. At least that's my impression of him.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Eric, go ahead. You want to say anything more?
Yeah, and like this was like a insight we came up with in the discussion itself, but even within the cycle of samsara, that itself isn't like a permanent thing. It is something that is in transience and that you can escape from as well. So that also kind of furthermore, you know, supports the kind of viewpoint that everything is always in motion, and that not everything is not permanent, even like your afterlife or the life after, that sort of such.
Yeah, in the secular standpoint, or in general, okay? So, can people recognize everything is impermanent, or there's no way? In general.
I think for Westerners, it's very difficult for them to approach negative events with a mindset of this is only temporary. From what I've observed, if something bad happens to people from the West, and I mean, I'm a Westerner myself, so, but I've noticed that if something bad happens, it's a catastrophe, and they cannot approach it with any degree of neutrality, and or apply, for example, sort of a this too shall pass mind frame to it. They're just, if anything negative happens, they're unable to see that, well, it could very well change tomorrow. They view it as a catastrophe.
And
And
even
it shakes them.
even
Yes.
even let's say if someone has eating problem, they say it's disorder, but in Buddhist view, it's not disorder. It's just some sort of attachment. Attachment you can change. Disorder sometimes you out the line. Make sense?
We also address that,
Mhm.
and how, for example, Westerners, whenever they feel discomfort, one of their immediate reactions is to go to a doctor to get some type of medication to stop feeling that way. Whereas in the Buddhist worldview, one recognizes that, okay, I feel bad right now, but that feeling is transient. And so I think it overall leads to Buddhism could very much lead to just greater physical well-being in that one is not taking countless prescription drugs.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, let us move on to number 2, please. Gavin and Travis, please. What the question about? Tristan, please, one more time. Keep the camera on, please. And Monica, you log in late. You can pick up any question. I will turn to you later on, okay, to respond. Otherwise, you would not have 5 points, okay? Yeah, go ahead, Gavin and Travis. Number
Yes. So our question was describe the Buddhist views on the challenge of human emotions with the psychological dissatisfaction, and pretty much they view like they describe this through the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, and describes how like certain emotions can lead to suffering, and in order to escape samsara, they have to escape suffering through losing these emotions. So basically like desire, greed, and like wanting of something could lead to suffering. For instance, like yearning for food would be considered something that could lead to suffering, basically. So like in the first noble truth, it talks about how everyone must accept that there will be suffering in someone's life that they will have to get through at some point. But and knowing this, you'll be able to go through the Eightfold Path to escape it. But the second noble truth being that the wanting and the desire to do something is the cause of suffering, and in order to escape suffering, you must lose desire. And then Travis will pick it up.
Okay, thank you. Travis, please.
Yeah, so what we were talking about was like how Buddhists view emotions as impermanent because they're going to change from one moment to the next, and how the like Four Noble Truths apply to that, and with like the like Buddhism acknowledges mental illness and describes it as like symptoms of mental defilement and unwholeness states, and we were talking about like ways that like Buddhists handle emotional distress, such as like through mindfulness meditation. And like I was reading some studies that was like talking about like the psychology of that and how they're proven like mindfulness training decreases depression symptoms.
Okay. So let me ask you guys, all of you guys, not only Gavin and Travis, why do you have test stress? Why? When you taking the test, you have stress, you stress out, you have a lot of anxiety.
Because we like suffering.
Why?
The anticipation of what grade you may get.
Yes.
Were you prepared? And
Yeah.
if you,
Something to do good for something stressful.
yeah, if you just don't worry about that crap, you do a lot better.
The desire to do well.
That's the point.
We're focusing on the future and not the present.
Yes, that's the point. The point is the craving for having a good grade, right? An A and so forth, right? So if you just let go of that thought of expectation to have an A, you could do better. It makes sense? Is that right? Whitney, it makes sense or out of your mind?
It makes sense.
Why? Why it makes sense? Why is that? If you push aside that expectation, you release your own stress. Why is that?
I mean, because whenever you take a test, you really really want a good score.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like all that stress, like you dissect every single problem, hoping that it's correct, and then once you get to the end, you just like release that kind of stress to see your score.
Mm-hmm. And even if you have problem with perfection,
I think
you want to be perfect in any aspect of your life, whether studying, relationship, doing business, and so on and so forth. Who have that view? Okay. Anything wrong with that? Or that's okay? Travis, what do you think?
Like I used to really struggle with perfectionism because like it would like nothing's like permanent, but like we're human, we're gonna make mistakes, but since I would always like try to be perfect at everything, I would always like set myself up to be unhappy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kelly, please.
I think fear has a lot to do with it too. Fear of consequences. In my life, I had mentioned earlier, I'm a single parent, and I don't have time for stress. I don't have time to worry if I fail. I know what will happen if I fail,
Mm-hmm.
and the fear of that, the fear of the consequences, motivates me. And and it's not so much fear as it's just understanding, like, I'm responsible for this life, and to a certain degree, there's not any room for failure, and that is very nerve-wracking. But
Okay, well, from time to time, we'll talk about that. When you say there's no room for failure, there's some room there because we're human. If you have that kind of a fashion view, right, you may stress out by yourself a lot. Let's move on to number 3. Thank you. Roland and how can I say Chira, right? Go ahead, please.
So
question-
our question was about how Buddhists view physical and mental attachments.
Yes.
And it seems like they tend to disapprove of them, like that you should be trying to strive for basically detachment, because that they kind of act as a distraction and they take away from the reality that Buddhists prescribe of the anatman, I think that's how I say it, the non-self, that like basically having those attachments kind of tricks you into being more attached to this life instead of finding enlightenment.
Okay. Chira, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
We kind of agreed on the same thing with that, and how, you know, most Buddhists and people who are pretty devoted are going to be like not wanting to keep their physical and mental attachments, just because having the attachment makes it harder for you to like if you're attached to something, you're thinking about it, you're wanting it, you're desiring it, and so it's not a good thing. So they'll usually not want those physical and mental attachments.
Okay. So let me give one example. How many of you here have pet, dog and cat with you? Okay, and what happened if one day your pet pass away? One day.
I would be very sad.
I'm gonna be very sad, very
yeah,
sad.
it's not
Yeah.
if, it's when.
I already had a pet passed away before, and yeah, it was, you know, I mean, it was her time, that sort of stuff.
Now, remember your pet, right? Your dog and cat, they would not, they don't relate to you, right? But you may be sad, right? Not talking about your sibling, your parents, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriends later on. One day they have to go. They would not live with you forever. So, I just open that question, open that sentence, so that you can think about, okay? Sorry, I have a vocal. All right, let's move on. Number 4, Devin and Samir, please.
Our question was about Buddhist views on unrealistic expectations. And I mean, we basically concluded the same thing, that unrealistic expectations are like a result of the wanting mind, and it's driven by desire, which leads to suffering. So yeah, but one thing we were discussing was, I guess it's really on how you would define an unrealistic expectation. Obviously, it's like subjective towards each person, but at what point is an expectation unrealistic?
Okay. Okay. Devin, you want to say anything more?
Yeah, so yeah, just basically agreeing with that, and having those unfulfilled expectations and desires lead to suffering, and there's a continued existence in the cycle of birth and death.
Let me ask you guys, how many of you used to buy lottery tickets? How many of you? Okay. So every day, right, we try on the road, right? We look up to the big billboard. Oh wow, the lottery ticket winner we get more than $100 million and so forth, right? And you walk into the store to buy a ticket with that expectation that you may win big. Make sense now, right? Samir, that's unrealistic expectation that you buy one ticket and you expect to win the big lottery. Make sense?
Yeah.
I mean that many people they spend so much money, right, to buy the lottery ticket, right? That's what about. Make sense now?
Yeah, but okay, let's say I'm a little kid and one day I want to be an astronaut. It's hard to be an astronaut, you know, there's a lot of things you have to do. You got to probably do some aerospace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, is that an unrealistic expectation?
It's beyond, if it's beyond your ability to reach.
But how do you know if it's beyond
I,
your ability?
I
Again,
don't think that a kid wanting to be an astronaut is an unrealistic expectation because all these ideas got to start from somewhere. As a kid, you don't know what your abilities are at that time. You got to try it. I think it sounds crazy because, like, unless you know an astronaut or you have those influences, then it might feel unrealistic. But as soon as you get exposed to that environment, then you might find out maybe it's not as hard as we think it is.
or let's say during Valentine, you expect your girlfriend, boyfriend to buy your brand new car, for example. Make sense?
Well, that might be an unrealistic expectation because
Yeah.
she's broke.
Yeah, that's the point I want to say. And what happened? They don't fulfill that unrealistic expectation. You get mad or you walk away from them or whichever. Make sense? So that's
I would say that a kid dreaming about their future is actually a healthy expectation because it's they're dreaming of the future. They're motivating themselves. They're
different.
setting.
That's
But
different. If it's for communities, it's for the sake of communities, for the sake of the other people. That rate is for selfish one. You have to be careful. You may bring on disaster. All right, so thank you. Let's move on to number 5. Dylan and Kelly, please.
You
Yeah,
want to go first, Dylan, or you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
You can go first.
Okay. Our question was describe the Buddhist view on mental projection and manipulation. So projection is very difficult to escape. It kind of all the things we've been talking about tie back to projection. That's when you have values and you have expectations and standards, and then you project them on the outside world, and you expect the outside world to live up to your expectations, and that's very unhealthy. You will only be disappointed thinking that you can tell people how to live or and then that also goes back to manipulation. If you're trying to twist the world and bend the world to you, that is not the natural state. That is a exercise in futility, and it all comes back to you'll be disappointed by what you find, and it'll create more suffering. So I think as a Buddhist, personally, I try very hard to not project. You have to go into everything with the mindset of, well, let's see, let's find out what it's going to be like. And that's really hard to get to because we do have expectations and we do hope for these nice things to happen for us. And we do hope, but it's really hard to temper that down and stop doing that. And I think that's, at least for me, one of the biggest struggles I've been through. And the freedom from that is just inexplicable. Billy, you have anything to answer?
Okay, yeah.
Just in case y'all can't hear me, I am in the student center. And I just started playing the piano. But as far as the mental projections and the manipulation and everything like that, I definitely do agree with him. I would say that it can also be like considered wholesome and unwholesome action. However, like projecting your desires or your delusions or anything like that on others, it will always be considered an unwholesome karmic action because just like he said, you can't expect people to do what you want. You can't expect people to see the things that you see. You can't expect the people to understand the things that you actually understand. And as far as like manipulating, you can't manipulate people into actually understanding how you see the world or just how you understand like karma's real, and a lot of people won't understand it. And you can't get people to understand and manipulate them to where it's just like, I'm sorry, I get distracted.
Let me pick up where you're at.
Yeah, I'm distracted.
No, it's fine. You said, sorry, I just had a brief fart. Hold on one second.
Okay, so let's see here. So Kaylee, like you say that you are single parents. Can you control or guide or teach your children in the way that you really want to do?
Only so much. You have some influence, but it's like you put a toy boat in a bathtub and you push it and then you let go. It may go a little the direction that you push it, but then it's gonna go its own way. So you can teach your kids absolutely what your values are and set expectations.
Yeah.
But it is very, very much an exercise of disappointment to think that my kid is going to turn out exactly the way I want them to, and we don't have any influence over that. Truly, they'll be who they are, and then despite your best efforts, the influence of the world will also have an impact. Their friends, their teachers, and stuff. So we don't live in a vacuum.
Yeah, we don't want to live with the one that try to dictate how we live, how we say, how we act, right? We want to have freedom to do order. So we're not supposed to control, manipulate other people in the way that we want to, because otherwise this is called dictatorship, right? So that brings the suffering both party for ourselves and others. When we try to manipulate them, when to try to dictate how they say, how they act, if they don't do the thing that we want to, we suffer, and they suffer too because they want to have the kind of freedom by themselves. So
I would say my biggest critique of politics is that attitude that one person thinks they know better for all of us what our lives should be, and that's the opposite, because we need to be left to our own devices to figure out our path for ourselves. And so it's when someone comes in and says, I know better than you do, well, that's something to be skeptical of. And I don't know, whatever your y'all's individual political affiliation is, no politicians are out to better our lives. They're out for power and money and their agenda. So
yeah, that's even I'm professor. I know more about Buddhism than you guys, but still learning from you guys too. Whenever you present something new, so learning is the two-way process, not one way, right? It's more healthy. All right, go ahead, number 6, Anne and Jem, please. Anne and Jem.
Yes, sir. So question number 6, I guess, what is the Buddhist views on rejection and the Buddhist views on the fight or flight?
Yeah, how is that? How much
you want to take over rejection and I'll do the next one?
Yeah, I do rejection. So for mental rejection, I would say he doesn't want you to be negative about yourself. Wait, hold on. So he just want you to be negative about yourself and just be more confident. So, Jim, can take over. I kind of lost it.
Okay. Yeah, so ultimately the Buddhist views on rejection, there was something I heard a long time ago that kind of fell in line with this. We don't take losses, we learn lessons. So if you get rejected for something, don't take it personal. Just take it as maybe a notion that you weren't prepared for that particular experience. Or let's say you apply for a job and you don't get the position. It's just like, maybe that's the time to self-reflect, like, there are some things that I could do to improve or be better for the next time. Or let's see, you like to talk about boyfriends or girlfriends or something. If you go to get a girl and she doesn't like you, maybe you're rejected. don't take it personal. Just get a better haircut next time, or
Yeah.
you know. So I guess the Buddhist views on rejection is to not take it personal in a bad way, and just look for ways that we can and use that as a way for improvement.
Yeah, even taking the quiz or taking the test too, right? Right, you may miss here and there, but you can improve yourself later on, right?
Yeah, even though I only got 3 out of 5,
Mhm.
don't feel rejected about it.
Go on, that you can, right? And you want to say anything more about that?
Oh no, I agree with him. I agree with him. I just lost it earlier. So, and for the fighting or flight, I believe that you can fear about anything. You should be mindful, and when you like try to avoid danger as much as you can, instead of like coming towards them. So you have to deal with like anxiety or fear or anything like that. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
You know, in life, sometimes you need to face with reality every day. For example, if you have problem with the siblings at home, with your spouse, with your girlfriends, boyfriend, you meet them every day, right? You cannot escape, right? Until you find some mutual solution, right? And also, if you are a psychology major, you know, fight and flight is the mode for stress, right? If we just try our best to live with our everyday situation, be mindful with us and accept whichever thing happen, even our failure or any kind of difficulties, right? We can learn the lesson, right? Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Number 7, Angela, Whitney, and Owen, please. Number 7.
So for our question, it was describe Buddhist views on anger, rage, resentment, violence, and jealousy. I took that as well, what I've learned so far is that in Buddhism, their teachings and practices, it says that you should not resort to violence. You should first like find peace in the situation or find a positive perspective on the situation instead of immediately going to violence and anger, because if you resort to violence and anger, it can lead to suffering. And in Buddhist teachings, like it says like you should try to avoid suffering instead of practicing violence and anger, because that will lead to suffering.
Thank you. Angela, Owen.
Basically, oh, go ahead.
Just to add to that, they also believe in patience and not to act with emotion, just to think before you act, because emotions can like cloud your intentions, and you always want your intention to be from your thoughts rather than your emotion.
And to add on from that, holding on to those negative emotions really doesn't make you think clearly. So clinging on to it is just a really bad way of holding in all that resentment and bad emotions, which clouds purity from your intentions and your actions.
So how anger or jealousy can cloud your mind? How?
So like, let's say you have like a grudge against someone, right? If you have a grudge against someone, you'll think using with anger instead of forgiving them and letting it go or trying to talk it out. And instead, with that, if you use anger, you might do something you might regret later on. And you might not even truly mean it. Whereas if you let it go and forgive it, things could be fixed fairly easy.
Let's say if someone sorry, if someone say bad about you, right? Can you let go?
Personally, for me, I can. I don't really care about people's opinions. That's just me, though. So it depends on each person.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's just wording only, right? We're not talking about someone want to or try to steal your purse, try to steal your computer, laptop, or iPhone, and so forth, right? If they just say something negatively about you, how you look, how you work, and so forth and so forth, how could you deal with that without having any kind of anger and any kind of hatred toward that person? How can you deal with that?
I think if you don't attach yourself with the situation, like if you can mentally and emotionally kind of remove yourself and get like a broader perspective, you can think more clearly, and meditation helps with that.
Oh, well, that's great. And remember, in life, we have all kind of people, right? We encounter all kind of people. Some people they like us, some people they don't like us. Whichever we say, those will love us, they will protect us and shield us from problems, right? But the one that may not like us, whichever we say, whichever we do, they get try to push us down. So it's better for you to stand up by yourself. Okay. All right. Thank you. Number 8. Anna and Trang, please.
Yes. So we are going to be talking about how Buddhism approaches physical and mental pain. And so in Buddhism, there's 3 types of suffering, and one of them is pain that includes physical and the mental pain. And when it comes to Buddhism, usually there's no self, so we become one with the pain, and so we must have to try to learn how to live with it and let go without being too attached to it. And there is ways to deal with that. And so we were talking about how meditation is one of those tools that, or one of those practices that we can do to relieve physical and mental health or mental pain.
Thank you. Trang, please.
Yeah, so to add on to that, I agree with what Anna said. And we basically discuss about how meditation can be a way of escaping suffering. Because suffering it goes with everyone throughout the world. I guess like meditation can help you find like the space that you need to get rid of that negative emotion, and basically to find that inner peace that you need so that it can, I guess, help you heal in a way. And then we also talk about how the connection of the mind is also very strong to the physical form. So basically whatever we think will become the actual meaning. So let's say if you are physically hurt, you can tell yourself, your mind, to become stronger or just build up that pain tolerance to get rid of that. So that's why we think that the mental and physical health does connect together as well. So meditation can also help that.
Yeah, let me ask not the 2 of you, but everyone here. Let's say if you have stomachache, right? Because you ate the wrong food, a spoiled food, whichever reason. So you have 2 attitudes, all right? The first attitude is that just accept that stomachache problems and take medicine. One attitude. Another attitude is you're so angry with your stomachache because you could not eat anything more. Which one is more healthy? Which one? The first one, the second one?
Of course, the first one.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what happened in general? People go with the first one, or many people go with the second one? What do you think?
I think people get some type of perverse pleasure out of complaining. And so, yeah, and people just love to, in general, show how much more difficult their life is than other people's. And so, there's probably a greater tendency, just in humanity in general, to go with the latter, the second one, to complain about, look at how rough it is. Even my stomach won't. I can't even control my stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, or when you strip over, right? You twist your ankle, right? Right, you have a one choice: just accept, apply, or take medicine, or apply some Band-Aids to that it get healed, or complain. You say that, complain about the rock that you stumble on or whichever. Most of the time, right? We go with the second one, right? That's why that's Buddhist approach to accept and move on. Accept this, even whether it's difficult or not, we can accept and move on. Much easy. So basically, if we accept the problem, we make peace of ourselves. Make sense? But if we don't accept and we try to fight, right? We try to argue, we try to complain. That we add on one more layer of suffering, the mental suffering. Make sense?
I'm also familiar with the expression that acceptance is the answer to all my problems. And so if one is able to accept whatever is going on in the world or in their life without without trying to not accept it and change it, then they avoid precisely what you said, adding on another layer of suffering.
Okay, good. Thank you. Number 12, Dinuk, right? Go ahead, please. You are alone. Number 12.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So my question was about animal rights and how it's compatible with Buddhist action. And so my interpretation is that in the Buddhist mindset, we think like all lives are kind of sacred, and the actions we do, it's more about the intent on the action, like what we're doing, right? If you're like killing the animals for like, let's say, like for joy, like people do hunting and stuff, then it's not aligning with the Buddhist intent, right? But I would say maybe that if you're not trying to cause harm, but you're also trying to survive, then maybe in that mindset, the Buddhist thing is right. That's how I thought.
Yeah, later on we can talk more about the Buddhist reaction or the Buddhist view about animal rights, right? Yeah. All right, so let's go back to the last group, and after that we can go back to Monica. Oh, Anna, which group? You talked already, right, Anna? Right. Okay.
Me? Yeah, I was in group 8.
Okay. Sorry. Monica, you can pick up the question. We come back to you. Okay. Brand and Rishan, number 16, please.
All right, so Brian, would you like to discuss right concentration and then I can discuss right mindfulness?
Sure.
All right.
So we chose question 16, and it's asking you to describe right mindfulness versus right concentration. And right concentration, I think, according to the text, I guess, and just in general is, so concentration, I guess, would be picking something or someone or some task and actually focusing on it, putting intentional focus on it, and holding that focus there on the particular task, person, or thing. And right concentration would be to put that focus, take your concentration and put it on the dharmas and the practices that the Buddhists teach, and just basically being in the space to be focused on the correct path, the correct trajectory, and I guess the correct teachings. So you're focusing on the right things as far as your Buddhist journey goes in right concentration.
All right, and as for right mindfulness, it's kind of the inverse of right concentration. So with right concentration, while you're focusing on one particular object, mantra, or breathing, with right mindfulness, it's more broad. You're focused on being in the present and acknowledging everything around you with indifference. So it's close to meditation, where you close your eyes and you don't think or really feel much. You're focused only on the breathing. So in that sense, you'd apply right concentration, but you'd be practicing right mindfulness by essentially acknowledging, say, the air conditioning or that fly buzzing around at the back of the classroom. Might hear some people talking downstairs, some music blasting on the left, but you're not judging any of that. You're just here in the moment, acknowledging everything matter-of-factly.
Okay, so I have a question for every one of you. Let's say you go down to student center, right? And there's the cafeterias with all kind of food out there, right? McDonald's and so forth and so forth. When you, let's say you buy your food and sit down to eat, so what's the percentage of focusing on eating only to compare with the percentage that while you're eating, you watch movie, you watch YouTube, you watch TikTok, you watch Instagram and so forth and so forth. What's the percentage?
I mean, I know I'm guilty of consuming media while I eat.
Remember, it's not guilty or not. That's just sort of distraction, right? Right. So most of the time, right? One semester a few years ago, I brought a group of students in my mindfulness class to observe how students consuming their food in the student center when they sat around the table, the chair, and so forth. And guess what? I think 99%, right? 99% of students, while they were eating, they talking. While they were eating, they watching. So they have to do multiple things at one time, right? Remember, if you carry on that, when you take a test, what happened then? Or even when you're having an interview, a important job interview, what happened? Reason, if you have that kind of distraction when you have that important interview, what happened then?
Are you asking what would happen during that interview if you're unable to focus concentration? Well, let's say the interviewer asks you a question, but you're not fully there to acknowledge his question. Then you might space out and you might not know how to answer it properly because you missed some details. Your mind isn't fully there, and this can dock points off of from the interviewer, and he might not hire you for that job.
That's simple, right? It's so practical, right? And that's why meditation or mindfulness, right, concentration is so important. Later on, from time to time, we talk about that. All right, so let's us move on to the next one. Kristen, number 11, please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I had number 11. I have a question. Fake news, yeah, so it's really how fake news spreads like a virus to society. So yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. I'm sure we all like are just like reading articles and stuff and noticing like or I mean it's just very well known like how prevalent fake news is at this point, just especially from the region. But like trying to apply Buddhist right speech, just to sort of I guess a sort of fake news crisis. My understanding of the Buddhist right speech, they can basically break it down to like 4 main points. Sorry, am I going there? So like one of the first things is like the first phrase is like abstaining from false speech. So as far as fake news goes, that would just make if we were going on for some business right speech principles, just first abstaining from false speech, that would stop a lot of the articles that are being written right now from human being distributed. If that was it, I think we were going on. On top of that, they Buddhist right speech. Another point is abstain from slanderous, for hard speech, and also abstaining from either shouting. So like, I guess we can like see that if they so do like gossip, like just basically like I don't know chapters and before going to the Buddhist speech. We just want to be spreading around this fake news that we are seeing today. It's speaking.
Yeah, so somehow sorry you speak too soft. It's hard to hear. So anyway, what kind of fake news that you guys can give me one example on the news spread around the campus and so forth? Give me one example of fake news. Why fake news is spread like the cancer in our society? Give me one example.
An example of fake news would be that like the military was going to be arrested by the border patrol at the Texas-Mexico border.
Okay, that's a fake news.
Yes.
Okay, so why it spread like cancer in the society? Why is that?
I think overall, just because the border is a popular subject right now, it's a highly politicized thing, and it's just something that everybody's looking for to have some effect on the election.
Okay, good. Monica, you have any question that you want to talk? Otherwise, you would not have 5 minutes, 5 points. Okay, Monica.
Yeah, I wanted to talk on question.
No, which question you want to discuss or to talk like order? Otherwise, you would not have 5 points. We have question number 1 to question number 16, like order.
Yeah.
So which
I
question?
wanted. Sorry, I wanted to talk on question number 7. Over jealousy, anger, rage, resentment, violence. So this is considered poison. It creates chaos internally and it will project outwardly. You will create an environment that's not peaceful or safe for others or yourself. And then you'll always be left questioning why things happen the way it happens. It's due to lack of self-control over these emotions. And then sometimes we just need to sit with these emotions without reacting first. We have to like analyze the situation and how it makes us feel, and then think about what will happen if we go ahead and do or become jealous or like get violent. So we have to realize what these emotions will do. We have to acknowledge it and not let it control us. Of course, that takes practice. It doesn't just come right away. Even if we realize it, even if we acknowledge it, we have to continuously practice on doing these meditation.
Yeah, so again, so how could you deal with how could you acknowledge that you may have jealousy toward how other students, other people look achievement and so forth? How could you deal with that internally?
We just have to realize that we are different human beings. Some people may be able to do things better than us, and that's okay because we have our own special talent within us too. So we are special in a way too, and we can't just always think that we have the ability to become the other person. We can't.
Yeah, everyone is unique, right? Everyone has different empathy, right? Different. All right, so that's all. That's all for our meeting today. And one more time, the day that I let you to share your opinions and knowledge about the question, that day you get 5 points. In total, 10 points, right? The day that I give a lecture, you had a quiz. So I will let you know beforehand, right? So which one you prefer? Have this discussion, or I'll give the lecture? What do you think?
Discussion.
Yeah, definitely. I prefer the discussion.
Yeah, the discussion was a lot more
But definitely from time to time I give the lecture, all right? Not every single meeting, all right? Because in the past my students complained that even I gave them the chance to talk, but they say that they need to hear from me. All right, anyway, so again, if you have
Yeah,
questions,
we're not those students.
sure. If you have questions, that if otherwise I can let you go and see you next